We are a group of former Palmarians who have learned the truth about the motivations of its leaders. They are not out for spiritual well-being and growth, truth, faith and devotion. They are out for money, control and power. The former leader and co-founder of the Palmarian Church, Clemente Dominguez Gomez, was a mentally disturbed individual who claimed visions of Jesus and the saints on a daily basis. This was done not out of true intentions or the means of improving lives, but for the status of mystic and unquestioned leader who had a direct line to God. In other words, his reign was supreme and unchallenged. What started out as a fairly traditional, if somewhat backward alternative to the Catholic Church, in the wake of Vatican II, gradually turned into a personality cult with Gomez at its center. He crowned himself Pope in 1979, declaring himself the true Pope, claiming Jesus himself crowned him, and took the name Pope Gregory XVII. During the 1980s, the cult flourished with millions of pounds being poured into its coffers from around the globe. This enabled Gomez and a select few of his bishops to lead a lifestyle of excess, hardly that of a holy man. He built a huge basilica in the Spanish desert and spent hundreds of thousands on extravagant floats, statues and altars, all to give the theatrical impression of a church devoted to the worship of God. In fact, most of the money he squandered on himself. When the millennium turned, so did the fortune of the Palmarian Church. Former bishops of his church left, or were thrown out, followers dwindled, and Gomez tightened his grip on his money source, the poor people who stayed. He became increasingly paranoid, forbidding them to talk to relatives and indoctrinating the young with his twisted Palmarian, apocalyptic propaganda. He increasingly talked of martyrdom and death in his name. Fortunately, he died in 2005. Now heading up the church is one Alonso Manuel Carl, former Secretary of State to Gomez, formerly known as Father Isidore, now known as Pope Peter II. Under his reign, the Palmarian Church has grown ever more secular, with its members forbidden to interact with the outside world. This, he says, is to protect them from evil. In truth, it is to protect his own money source. Young children are being brainwashed into believing that Alonso Carl is the representative of God on earth, and he must be obeyed without question. We know of this propaganda, because as former members we have been exposed to it. They have been allowed to operate in plain sight for too long. Their Irish HQ is at number 38, Haddon Road, in Clontarf, where a Palmarian bishop resides, appointed by Gomez to keep an eye on the followers and ensure the money keeps flowing. We, out of concern for members and their families, are speaking out against this so-called church. It is based on lies and deception, manipulation and propaganda, power, money, corruption and megalomania. Young children are being corrupted by these people into believing the world is evil and live in a state of fear. They have already ruined hundreds of lives and continue to do so. We cannot stand by and watch this happen. The truth will come out. We are a peaceful movement and we urge everyone, every ex-member, or relative of an ex or current member, every member of the local community in which this cult is operating out of, every concerned individual, to stand with us and demand that government and social services take a look at the effects this cult's practices have on young children. Contact us for more detailed information. For now, just know these people are operating in your midst. It must stop. We are back, armed with the truth, and we plan to share it. Our opposition starts now.